I realized Jared was a special athlete. He was 8 years old. Jared came to me and goes, "Pops, I'm gonna play professional football."
I never forget the day I told him I wanted to play professional football. And he just leaned into it.
A lot of dads or parents or whatever go, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, all right, you got a little dream, it'll go away, when you get older."
At such a young age, there was 1,000 different excuses he could have told me why. Listen, that's great, but 1% this, that, and it was never that, ever.
And I always told my boys, I don't care what you want to do or how you want to do it. You get your mind and get your heart connected, you can do anything you want, and if you believe. When I told Jared that, Jared never looked back. Never looked back.
Great jump by Allen. Here it comes. He's got it. He's hit and sacked by Jared Allen. Down goes Rodgers. Jared Allen. Hit by Jared Allen. Jared Allen. Jared Allen. Jared Allen. 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 Jared Allen has done it.
My family name means everything.
There's a ranch north of Nashville where a father and son spend time. Time that's been made possible by generations of men who did things the right way.
My dad's very highly decorated. He was Korea, Vietnam, Panama, Lebanon, Philippines. He's got his Cold War medal.
My grandpa was just steadfast. There was something about him that you just knew, like, this dude was real. He was authentic. Maybe that's probably the best word. I mean, there's no more authentic human being than I know than my grandfather. I think that was where I'm really, truly blessed. I never had to look outside my family for personal heroes. It's a question that gets asked a lot in this realm of like, oh, who'd you look at? And it's easy for me because it was my grandfather and my dad.
Raymond Allen's integrity and moral code had a profound effect on the way Ron approached life.
The way my dad raised us, it has trickled down.
My dad is a man, he works and he's loyal. His word means something, even when he's struggling. He was always willing to work on himself. My dad was always willing to push to do what was right. So when you know you're getting older, you gotta use the,
Oh yeah, big time, oh yeah, here we go.
And in times where people could have quit, he worked harder. And he did that, not just as a dad, but just in his life.
And where Raymond found passion in the military, Ron had football. Starring as a tight end at the University of Jamestown before ultimately spending 2 seasons in the USFL.
It's funny because, you see the letters, and as a kid, he got a taste of the NFL. He had letters from NFL teams, and that was so motivating to have a dad that, coaching you that had some validity behind it. And I think he's built the way that if you say you're gonna do something or you want something, in his mind, his job as a father was to make sure I got it.
With his father's support and motivation, Jared took off early.
Jared was a really determined kid. He was Pop Warner star, he was a high school star.
Started my sophomore year, I was like 5'10", 150 pounds. The start of my junior year, I was 6'3", 205 pounds. High school football, I just think is one of the purest forms of the sport. It's such a cliche, right? It's like, football and cheerleaders, wearing your jersey to school on Friday. It doesn't get any more jocked out than that, and it's fantastic.
When he arrived at college, the big kid from Los Gatos, California, quickly made a name for himself.
At Idaho State, I was just a continuation of high school.
And those closest to Jared got a front row seat to his potential.
Coach Lou at Idaho State told me, this kid has a switch in the back of his head, and he says no matter what the level of play is, he can switch that switch and he goes to that level. And we never knew how far that switch would go.
But not everyone at Jared's pro day shared Coach Lou's belief.
Most of the scouts that were there, they all seemed to be in a hurry to get out of there, and they evaluated Jared as a long snapper. I was really one of few left there to actually evaluate him as a linebacker.
His NFL bio read that he wasn't big enough, strong enough, or fast enough to be an NFL ball player.
There were folks that had an opinion that he would go probably undrafted, but an undrafted free agent. But I thought, this guy's a player. He came off the edge with great speed to power, seemed to understand leverage, everything that we were looking for for a guy at that position. So as it came up to the fourth round, there was a lot of discussion about who he would take, and the powers that be decided that Jared Allen would be that guy.
Kansas City bring in a tall, lanky defensive end, Jared Allen from Idaho State. Talking about a defensive line with 102 tackles. That's production.
With his childhood dream finally realized, the new chief faced a rare moment of self-doubt.
When I got drafted, it was one of the highest highs of my life because it was my lifelong goal to make it to the NFL. But it was also terrifying because it was like, I just accomplished my lifelong goal. Now what?
But if Jared was scared, he didn't let it show.
Jared was not concerned about whether or not he would make the team, but his primary concern was when would he be on the field. Once he got on the field, he set the tone, and the rest was history.
Looking for a check down throw, hit by Jared Allen! Smokes him back at the 40, making a field goal very long.
The first time that I saw Jared play when I was with the Chargers, the way he moved was sort of unlike other athletes out there.
Allen quickly made a name for himself as one of the top young edges in the league, as he tallied 27.5 sacks through his first 3 seasons.
Trying to get away, and he's going to be sacked all the way back at midfield. A sack by Jared Allen.
All while showcasing a personality that was impossible not to love.
Grow a mullet, obviously.
You look like a vegetarian.
Love you, man.
Better be loved than hated, right?
But just as things looked like they were about to catapult into the NFL stratosphere, adversity came calling.
And one of the most important moments in my life, dealing with a certain amount of fame, if you will, right? A prominent position in the community, money, single, kind of everything at your beck and call. And so, it was well documented. I made a bad decision. I drove my car after having drinks, and it was a terrible decision.
He got in trouble. It was all over ESPN.
With everything he'd worked for hanging in the balance, Jared wouldn't have to go far for the guidance he needed.
I got back from the game, and my dad called me. My dad goes, "Do you think I should talk to him?"
And my grandfather called me, and he basically said, I didn't drag this last name through multiple conflicts for you to F it up. He talked about, you got cousins that look up to you, you got people in this community, and, when they see that last name, they might not see me, but it's on your back because of me.
He goes, "What do you want to do? You want to be a town drunk? Or do you want to be one of the best ball players in the NFL?" And it changed right there.
For my grandfather to tell me that really spoke volumes, and it made me feel like, dang, man, I'm letting him down. I'm letting, how dare I tarnish something he worked so hard to keep alive? And it made me want to be better. It made me want to really maybe understand what my last name meant.
That, I think, was the main turning point of his life.
I think I'm lucky because I don't think a lot of people get that. I don't think a lot of people take the time to understand the lineage of your name, not just where it comes from, but the sacrifice people made for you to have it, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, it comes down to decisions, and it can end. It can stop.
The change in Jared was apparent immediately, and it instantly translated onto the field.
He's hit and sacked. The ball's out. Jared Allen ropes another calf.
And he went right out and led the league in sacks.
Jared Allen gets another.
He was a great ball player before that. He got so much better after that because now the game became fun. Now he realized who he is and what he's all about.
Unfortunately, Jared's newfound path and success wasn't enough to keep things together in Kansas City, and he found himself looking for a change.
I left the Kansas City Chiefs and came to the Minnesota Vikings. Jared and I still continued to stay in touch. That last year that Jared was at Kansas City was 2007, and we were scrimmaging at River Falls. And before practice started, I was out early, Jared was there, and we said, hey, let's catch up a little bit. And he said, Pico, I need a change of environment. And we were in need of a defensive end, so I went to Rick Spielman and Brad Childress.
When I first thought we had a chance at Jared Allen, you're thinking, this would be too good to be true. There's no way we can pull this off.
I thought, let's move heaven and earth to get him here. It's rare that you can get somebody's franchise player.
I mean, you're talking about an all-pro player in his prime at a premium position. It just doesn't happen.
But for the Vikings, it wasn't as simple as just wanting Jared Allen.
It was not an easy process. It was a hard process. Kansas City, they knew they had a special player. I mean, any time in this business you're doing, kind of the daily double of a top marquee contract and you're giving up significant draft compensation, it's not easy for it to work.
And they could have leaned against his past as so many others had.
I want a team that's showing they believe in me, right? And I will absolutely, 100%, I think I made the comment, I was like, hell, shy of getting Vikings tattooed across my chest, like, I'm sold out.
Jared is a person of high integrity, and he looked us in the eye and he told us he's not gonna let us down. You know, he told us the story he's told about his grandfather, and we had a pretty good feeling it was gonna work out the way it has.
So yeah, that trade to me was everything, because I mean, it showed that there was a team out there that was like, all right, his past is the past. We believe what he's capable of the future. We believe him as a man. That just fired me up and made me want to play even harder for him.
Allen and the Vikings then coming to terms on a 6-year deal worth $73.25 million.
More guaranteed money than any defensive player in National Football League history.
For the second time in his career, Jared Allen faced a moment of self-doubt.
I'm now the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. This team just gave up a truckload of money for me and a truckload of picks. And I'm like, oh crap. You don't want to be the guy who, you know, you're a one-trick pony, you get paid and you shut it down. So now it was like, I need to reset goals again.
Luckily, he had some new teammates that were ready to help.
When Pat and Kevin and Dunbar picked me up from the airport, 3 of the largest human beings I've ever seen. And then you got this big-ass dude with a cowboy hat sitting in the middle, and your rap music's blaring, you know, from 3 guys from freaking Louisiana and Arkansas, you know? You got a West Coast cowboy with 3 freaking Deep South, you know, brothers just like this. It couldn't have been more opposite, right?
Me and Pat got on to him about, you know, this and that, and told him we play the run, because, you know, word out, Jared didn't play the run, and until this day, he was like, I don't know where they got that from.
They challenged me, like, we play the run here. I'm like, bro, like, you look at my tackles. Like, you mean I don't play the run? Get out of here. I'm not even dealing with that. That car ride, it was just, you could just tell it was going to be honest. It was going to be competitive, it was going to be raw, and we were all going to get along freaking great.
He fit right in with us, with our kind of banter with each other, and kind of knew what his expectations were and what our expectations were. And I think we hit it off from the get-go.
It's the right fit here. And like I said, for me, selfishly, those 2 D tackles, I think the biggest problem we're going to have is who's going to hit the quarterback first.
From the day he walked in the door, he was everything we expected and more.
He was a special player for us, but I don't think you know till you see him get on the field. And, you know, just to watch how hot his motor ran all the time, starting in training camp, you know, this guy is a guy that's going to help everybody.
To watch him work, to watch him hone his craft, study.
I feel the need for speed.
The guy was relentless.
He's hit and sacked!
Wow! Don't ever try to block me.
After an 8-8 season in 2007, where the defense finished first against the run but dead last against the pass, Jared's arrival made an immediate impact.
He's getting it off quick, but we gotta keep coming.
And the Minnesota Vikings won a division title for the first time in 9 years.
They can't block you one-on-one. If they don't do nothing, we're gonna kill them all night.
He kind of gave us a polish to what we were. You know, we were raw, we knew that we were good, but then this guy comes in and gives us a different dimension, and he kind of polished up our defense.
I gave them a consistent edge pressure, right? I think that's what they were missing. It didn't change much from a standpoint of intensity and how great they were. I mean, I think that was another great part about me going to Minnesota is I didn't have to be the guy.
Romo on 3rd and 14, steps up, he's sacked, and he dropped the ball, and the Vikings, Kevin Williams with the fumble recovery.
Let's go home.
2009 saw things go to a whole different level.
You know, it was a thrill a minute. He really brought juice to the meeting room, just with his personality.
Here it goes again.
And so guys can get bored, but his personality kind of had everybody chuckling, particularly on the defensive line.
20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Have a body like hockey.
You couldn't get a word in on the field with Pat on one side, Jared on the other side. It was really a comedy show out there.
It was fun. I mean, it was pure. And to me, it was the way the game was supposed to be played.
And they were the best defense, in my opinion, in the NFL. They set a tone on that field that got us to the NFC Championship in 2009.
In Allen's 6 years in Minnesota, he notched 3 All-Pro nods and racked up 85.5 sacks.
Jared Allen just never stops working.
The most in the NFL over that time, and for his career, he sits 12th on the NFL's official sack list.
Never came off the field. I think in 6 years with us, he didn't miss a game. You tried to take him off, he was running right back in the next play.
And while his intensity and effort was matched on the field by his teammates, it was his values and life goals from his grandfather and father that were matched throughout the organization.
It was more than money. It was more than just going to another team. It was more than a step. I started becoming the man I am today from the people in that locker room and that organization. There's this trust in the building, and there was this camaraderie that it wasn't, C-suite players, it wasn't broken down in this corporate thing, man. You were in it together. I was able to see good relationships outside of football, right? Between like Kevin and Tasha, Pat and Val, Chad and Jenny, and Ben and Abby, like all these people.
He's told me before, just seeing how I operated with my family and things like that, it was stuff he kind of looked up to and wanted to do and become. And him getting married and Amy and having the kids and all those, it really changed him to now he's the, absolute family guy. And to see that evolution of him is awesome.
I had the right people living the right way to help me implement those strategies, those changes into my life. And then it just kept catapulting, and you just keep growing.
Through it all, no matter the size of the accomplishment or the prestige of the honor, it's Jared's reverence for his family name that continues to guide his path.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, there he is.
Talking all sorts of crazy stuff. Glad you guys could come up here because, my dad and my grandpa have always been like my big heroes. So, I probably don't tell you that enough. But, appreciate you. I don't think anybody in our family has probably believed in me more than you have. From when I was 8, telling you that I wanted to, play pro ball. I always make the joke that, most parents are like, oh, great, go to school. And you dropped me off at the gate and said, you better eat, drink, and sleep this crap and make me run, right? I think that's why, we were so close. I probably don't thank you enough for that. You'd never stop believing in me, even when I tried to screw it up and that kind of stuff. And to be honest, I probably don't know how to properly repay you the right way.
Yeah.
So I figured I could do that by having you be my presenter into the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Oh, man. Love you, Pop.
Papa.
My dad, you taught me work ethic, and most importantly, your consistent belief in me gave me the confidence to achieve greatness. And to my wife, I am in awe of you every single day, and I love you more than life itself. To my amazing daughters, you too are my legacy. Dream big dreams, and always pursue greatness in whatever you do.
I look at pictures around here of my dad. I see Jared and my dad right there, and I just, it does. It brings tears to my eyes because I really miss my dad. I wish my dad was here to see this because he would have been able to watch Jared's transformation from after the time he talked to him until now. My dad would he'd be bubbling. He'd be bubbling. The man he is today, and the heart that man has, the family man, the dad he is, the husband he is, I'm very proud of that. Probably more proud of that than I am the Hall of Fame. That close.
Bye.